Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Jason Wehrli with WCFab. Today we have our 5.9 Cummins Ultimate Side-by-Side Compound Turbo Kits. So the early model 03 to 07 5.9 Cummins, the original hot rod diesel, back when diesel performance really was starting to get off the ground in the early 2000s, and we still offer a lot of performance parts for these popular trucks. So if you've got a standard compound over stock style turbo kit and you're looking to upgrade to a higher power level, or you're building the engine on your truck, or if your fuel combination is more than what an overstock style kit is designed for, that's when we step up to our side-by-side compound turbo kits. These kits are available in several different configurations, and really there's plenty of options to choose from depending what type of turbos you're looking to use, what your horsepower goals are, what you're using the truck for, if it's extreme racing, truck pulling, drag racing, or if you're still towing with the vehicle. So this particular combination in front of us here is our S4 side-by-side kit. This is one of our most popular combinations in this particular setup. This combination of turbochargers is your stepping stone from a single S400 or maybe an S400 over stock compound setup, and really looking to take the truck to the next level. If you're running 150%, 200% or larger injector, if you're running dual pumps or a 12 or 14 millimeter pump, looking for the extreme horsepower, say over 1,000, that's where this combination really shines. You can still make 1,000 horsepower with your S400 over stock or S400 over upgraded drop-in style combinations, but once you cross that 1,000 horsepower mark on the S400 over stock combos, you really start pushing some extreme drive pressures, and that's when you got to start considering the larger S4 over S4 or S3 S4 side-by-side compound turbo kits. So this particular setup all starts based off the exhaust manifold. We prefer to use the Steed Speed 2nd gen style T4 manifold, and we have that manifold flipped in the upwards position, which gets that manifold charger mounted high. It looks great up top, out front, and it's really easy to access and work on oil lines, hot pipe, intercooler pipes, etc., versus having that manifold mounted low and that charger tucked underneath. So selecting the proper manifold turbo, you're either going to be an S300 base or an S400 base. Between the two, the main difference is the bearing package, shaft size, and the turbine size. If you're still using your truck for a little bit of towing or work use, a lot of times we will stick with an S300 base because that smaller turbine will give you a little better spool up and a little better drivability on the street. But when it gets into the hardcore racing and really big fuel systems, we like to upgrade to that S400 on the manifold. You have a larger bearing package, larger turbine itself for increased exhaust flow, which all helps in making those bigger horsepower goals. The downfall of the S400 versus the S300 on the manifold charger is you're gonna lose a little bit of that drivability and a little bit slower turbo spool up. But overall, the S400 on the manifold is still a very streetable combination. Never any less than an S400 frame on the Atmosphere. Depending on horsepower and fueling, we will sometimes step up to an S500 frame or the larger Garrett GT55 base. Again, all depending on your budget and what your horsepower goals are. Most commonly though, we run the S488 as the Atmosphere turbo. A 488 paired with a 467 or a 472 on the manifold is enough air for well over 1,200 horsepower. So it's a really nice package for a guy running a 14 millimeter pump and say 200% over injectors to reach that horsepower goal. So a couple other highlights of the kit and components that we include. Our side-by-side compound turbo kit is a complete package. As you can see, it does require relocation or removal of that passenger side battery as we're mounting that Atmosphere turbo right next to the high pressure. Otherwise, the kit is going to come with all of the necessary components to install on your truck. Oil lines, stainless steel braided, number 10 drains, number 6 speeds for both turbos. We have a nice heavy-duty turbo pedestal that mounts to the side of the engine block and supports that Atmosphere turbo. 3.5-inch hot pipe, whether you choose S300 or S400 for your manifold turbo, you're going to get a 3.5-inch hot pipe, which is exhaust between the two chargers into the T6 flange of the Atmosphere turbo. The turbo downpipe is a full 4-inch downpipe that snakes through underneath the high pressure down to your exhaust system. It's a 2-piece combination. This allows for easier installation and to be able to have that full 4-inch length the whole way. And it is still compatible with your OEM air conditioning system. Minor massaging of the AC lines, but it does fit. You do not have to remove the air conditioning, and still allows use of the OEM transmission dipstick too. On our side-by-side kits, on the cold side pipe from the atmosphere into the high pressure, we opt to modify the compressor cover, whether it's an S300 or S400 application on the manifold. We weld a V-band flange to the inlet of that turbocharger. No boot connections on the boost side. We use V-band at both connections, as well as V-band at the outlet of the high pressure turbo. Again, whether it's S3 or S4 base. The S3s are common for having a hose style outlet. We do weld a V-band on those so that you have a V-band connection on your hot side intercooler pipe from the manifold turbo down to your intercooler. So we use the V-band connection at the inlet of that turbocharger, not only to hold that whole combination together. Again, it helps support that heavy atmosphere turbo, gives you less vibration on the whole combination and in the cab of the truck, and much nicer not having to deal with silicone boots, which are notorious for leaks in high boost applications. And we do have our upgraded 3.5-inch cold side combination intercooler pipe and intake horn available as a separate option, which is strongly recommended for this application, as that 3.5-inch intake horn upgrade is a massive increase over the OEM cast component. All WCFab product powder coated here in-house. This kit done in our Bengal Red, a very popular combination. You have the option for having your compressor covers raw or powder coated. We do also have the option on the exhaust housings to do your ceramic coating and the optional heat blankets as well, which are strongly recommended. If you're not looking for this big of a horsepower setup, check out our S400 over stock applications, or if you want to run just a single charger, we do have our 2nd gen swaps available for the 5.9 Cummins. But this is your extreme high horsepower setup for the guys looking to shoot well over 1,000 horsepower, doing some hardcore drag racing or truck pulling. If you got any other questions, feel free to reach out to our sales team, leave a comment below, we'll be happy to help. Thanks a lot for watching.